gets the best of me. I can't seem to understand how you do this to me. You've been running in circles inside my head. Wasn't looking for love, but baby, I found you instead. Saw you in the red dress. I can't seem to understand how you got all that finesse. Still been running in circles inside my head. Wasn't looking for love, but baby, I found you instead.
ground shake.
All right, everyone. Hello, and welcome to the Radiant Stars update show. I am your host for today, Romanova, and I'm joined here with two very amazing designers here at Evil Mojo. We have Hi-Res Nico.
Hello, champions. It's a pleasure to be here again on the Update Note show. We are excited to bring you the content today.
And you know him. Normally he's dressed in suits, but due to quarantine, he gets to avoid embarrassment. One more time, Evil Mojo Adonis.
Yeah, I'm excited to be on this update show. I think from a skin standpoint, these are the best skins that I think we've put out as a team. So I'm really excited to show off what's in this update. Excuse me.
Absolutely. And I've been so excited for us to share these for a while. Obviously, it was a little bit longer before we got to these, and we are finally here getting to show them off, and it feels like it's just around the corner. So shout outs to everything. I can't wait for everyone to see what we have in store. But it's an update show, and as always, we start with the hunt, where we are still working from home, but still our QA team, our designers, our programmers, everyone that can fix a bug and has the ability to is working on it, and we're still slaying away. And we're going to go over here at first the most probably like prioritized ones, but as you know, you have the update notes to follow along on. There's a whole list that is still at this point developing on top of that. So follow along. You can see the full list there, but we're going to get into this. We're going to start out with Buck. All right. So, as we go into that, Buck, we fixed an issue where the Envy and Brawler skins were displaying as invisible. Now, I remember when this happened live, and we got tweets saying, Buck was an invisible boy. What are you going to do? I was like, that's just, he's a monk. So no, but for real.
Do monks have invisibility?
You guys fix this.
Is that a feature?
That's one of their powers.
They're quiet though. They
yes.
So if you can't see them, you definitely probably can't hear them, right?
It's the Guardians of the Galaxy. I can't even think of his name. I stand so still, you can't see me.
Oh yeah. That was Buck. But he's fixed now, totally so invisible. Nobody can use an invisible Buck on you. So that's a good thing. And we're gonna go into number 2 here, which is Koga. We fixed an issue where Fernando's ultimate would not stop Koga from losing health at 1500 health or below when in Dragon Stance, with Dragon Fang's talent equipped. So I don't know if you guys have any notes on this, but it sounds pretty important, especially in that interaction. Yeah? Okay. It sounds like...
Well, ultimately, the idea of the Fernando ultimate was not being upheld with the way it should. So this is just making sure that the interactions were kind of in line with how we intended them to happen. So this is a good fix.
And we'll keep going down the line. We have 2 for Maldamba. The first one is we fixed an issue where Maldamba's Dread Serpent ultimate would not affect players in many cases if the ultimate was used on a slope or ceiling. And the other one is we fixed an issue where Maldamba's Dread Serpent ultimate would not affect players if they were out of line of sight of the center of the ultimate and then re-entered line of sight. So that is important. I am a Maldamba player myself. I would be very frustrated if that happened to me. So
yeah, I think this one is a really nice this one's a really nice fix because some of the collision that we have on our maps can make it a little bit difficult sometimes with some of our abilities. This is kind of a nice quality of life, making sure that the effect is properly applied. And actually, we're glad we caught it, but in the middle of this fix, we actually caused Maldamba's ult to apply like every quarter second. So that's not going to be the case, but Maldamba almost got a shadow buff.
Maldamba mains, like his Twitter is at
Yeah,
HighRes
crying, no.
Nico. And for number 5 here, we got Androxus. So we fixed an issue where the momentum from Nether Step could be carried over into a cursed arm if used too quickly after Nether Step. So another thing that seems pretty important, we definitely, I think, like the place, right, that Androxus is at right now after some of the love he received, this year. But, can't have him being busted, right? Can't have any problems with the boy. And then we're going to go into number 6 here. It's just a general bug fix. But we fixed an issue where players could damage themselves in one area of the Bright Marsh spawn room. I definitely don't want to be damaging myself in the spawn room of any game that I play. So thank you guys for fixing that. And I don't know if you have any other comments to make on these, but as always, you can see the full list, champions, on the Paladins news page that we have the update notes on. And there are still bugs that need added to it that were fixed still, like going forward. And then as you know, once we enter the PTS, there will be more eventually added there as well. So make sure you always check for those updates. So with that being said, though, we got some cool features coming, right, guys? We have new features coming to the game. One being the bounty store. I know Adonis has been especially working on this for a while, so I know he'll have quite the bit to say. But this is, in summary, it is a way for you to get skins other than just, say, purchasing them or mixer points. This is a new way for our player base to receive, coin. I was going to say coins, but skins. So I will let you take it away here, Adonis. You are kind of the master at this point with this. So
yeah, so the bounty store is something we're introducing for players who have linked their accounts with HighRes and Paladins. Essentially, as you now play through the game and you complete daily quests, you'll unlock a new currency called bounty coins. And bounty coins can be used and spent inside the bounty store to unlock skins. For this, we'll have one skin. Unfortunately, we can't show you what the store looks like at the moment. We're still working on it in our development environment. But there will be one active skin, and it'll be priced in one of two ways. Either A, it will cost a low amount to start out with, and as players purchase the skin, the number available goes down and the price increases, or a decreasing price segment where the bounty coin cost of it will start out high, and then each day the price will decrease. But all these skins only have a limited quantity, so it's not, if I have the bounty coins, then I get it guaranteed. Essentially, it will be a little bit, how soon you want to buy into it. And obviously, different rarities of skins will have different quantities available. Skins that are rare and maybe a little bit less value to players will have larger quantities available, while we'll have the rarer skins such as Archangel Tyra may only have 5,000 units available. And so if it's one of those decreasing price situations where it starts out high and it decreases, you may want to buy it sooner rather than later instead of trying to wait for the price to decrease. And all skins in the bounty store will be on a 72-hour rotation. So skin comes up, it's we'll just say Archangel Tyra for lack of something to show you. It'll be available for 72 hours, and there'll be 5,000 units available. So as long as you've been completing your daily quests and you have these bounty coins stacked up and you can afford it, You can buy it, and then 72 hours later, there'll be another skin. And we'll be rotating skins in and out of this store for throughout the patch.
Yeah. Well, thank you for giving us that summary about it. I know I'm excited for our players to have another way to get really cool skins. And as you heard here, there's more into it, and you can see the details in the update notes. But it starts with you just linking your account. So make sure you follow the steps. When this does go live, this is a really cool way just to interact with each other and do something new in the game to receive, you get rewarded for it. So why wouldn't you, right? Yeah, and it looks like, in case you didn't see this on our social this morning, we got a little teaser here for you to go into our next battle pass for Radiant Stars. Take it away. I bet somebody was really excited about IO. Right, Kevin?
You seem more excited.
Yeah, I mean, I did do the little heart. I love that she normally has the little, I don't know if it's like a scar or face paint. Like I never really knew what to call that, but now she's stellar.
Fabulous.
She's the stellar protector, right? And with that being said, Stellar Protector, that is the name of Io and her skin that she is getting. And she is going to be the instant unlock that we get with this, along with obviously an animated loading frame, animated avatar, and a little bit of XP and gold boost that you always get with the beginning of a battle pass. However, this battle pass has 28 total variants and 4 base skins for each. Now we will get into that later. Now, I just want to build up the hype here, but we're taking a look at her in game. First of all, look at her fluffy tail. We saw that already, right? Look at the details, the stellar details on her bow, right? Oh,
I love that.
And she got a pose. So they all have emotes, correct? But I mean, we're only seeing one of them right now. But each champion that's involved, right? Is that Mew Mew?
Is that Mew Mew?
So as you all can see, Luna got a makeover this patch. No longer, even though she was a fox, can you say the dog, doggo? But that is a chonker, right, guys? That
is a stellar kitty.
Oh Lord. Luna coming, but Mew Mew, right? Yeah. I guess this in this skin, Mew Mew. in this reality of Io, the Luna is named Mew Mew.
Beware! You see Mew Mew coming for you at the point, and actually on the ground there we see the fallen star, death stamp as well, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, and we're gonna a little preview of that the voice pack there. I love it. And just to give some credit here where it's due, so the team that we had working on this concept was done by Jasmine. The character model and model for Mew Mew was done by Scott K. The weapon designed by Adam. We have rigging done by Jisoo. We have tech art, Kyle, and we have secondaries by Caitlin N. Jim P, VFX, Roland, obviously, the king. Sound effects, we have Thomas K. And then the splash art was actually done by Volmy Games. So, shout outs to everyone involved in that.
I think it's really important to...
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think it's really important to do that, is kind of shout out the people who are working on the background, because, there's a lot of work that goes into these skins. I think the content that we're putting out with this update, with this battle pass, is some of my favorite, personally at least. So I'm more than happy, because I love working with such talented people.
We are very fortunate to work with such talented people. And with that,
absolutely,
the next skin, get ready everyone, for Stellar Sorceress Imani. Now you unlock her base at level 10, just to let everyone know before we get into showing the art for this champion. So the other one that we were showing off, Stellar Protector Io. Stellar Protector Io, you know, the base for her is the instant unlock, but as we said, there are going to be other variants that we'll show later, and you can go into level 2, level 16, I think level 57, level 75, level 94, level 110, and 117 to get all of Io's. And then, you know, they all coordinate with each other, and Imani is going to be the one that unlocks at level 10. But
And then,
I think,
yeah,
yeah,
you know,
oh, there
as
she
we see
is.
Gorgeous.
Gorgeous.
As we see the splash art here, I bet we could even talk about at the end of this, when we go through all the things that we see for the first iteration, we can talk about what the entire list of variant colors is, right?
Oh yeah, we can definitely do that. I think they might have. Okay, so we are gonna get to the variants, but first we're gonna go in game with this skin. Now, did my eyes deceive me, or did I see on that screen? Is that a like hippogriff, a griffin? What is that, guys?
It looks very much like a majestic giant griffin, terrifying when you see it coming at you at the point. But I'm very excited to have this in the game.
So no more is it a dragon, folks? But we have Imani and her griffin. You gotta love it. She hasn't received, you know, I know she was somebody people wanted a skin for. She hasn't gotten one in a minute, and you gotta really love the love that they put into her. Starting with, you know, the concept for her was also done by Jasmine, and I know this really meant a lot to her to really nail, you know, that stellar look for this skin. And I think that was just an emote. Yeah. We got the, you know, the static, the 3D sprays. Yeah. The 3D sprays there with the animation. Oh, and I love this one.
Oh, nice.
I think my favorite part about this,
you know,
and she's like posed all cute too. Like she's ready, you know, she's ready to take down the bad guys.
What were you saying, Kevin?
Oh, I think my favorite part of this skin, well, this isn't my favorite part, but this is also a really good part. The pink griffin. Oh yes, the rainbow fire.
The rainbow fire.
This is terrifying.
This is like a perfect gift for everyone too who was celebrating. You know, Pride Month just came to an end, but it doesn't end in game. You can just breathe rainbow. You know, on everyone in the realm with the griffin there.
Absolutely
So-
amazing. And
So
as we
that's
heard
your
earlier,
favorite,
I
though?
it's certainly one of mine. I think Kevin probably agrees as well. I love the audio in particular, the audio and the effects. Roland killed as usual, Thomas kills as usual. Really lending to that stellar vibe.
Okay. And it looks like we got some really, really good, like you said, FX work there from Rollin. We also, for this character, the character model was done by Mike Yu. Weapon shout-outs to Ryan T. Deployables, Ryan T. Rigging, again, Jisoo killing it. Tech art, Kyle. Secondaries done by Jacob. And again, the splash this time was done by Volmi Games. So, you know, just excellent. And I know that we're going to be getting into shortly here.
Oh, I see you're a man of culture as well.
I love that voice line. That's going to be great to say to your friends.
You would make the perfect cannon.
I actually think the voice work that we did this patch is really. Oh, it was a huge amount of fun to do, firstly, but I think we managed to tie it together thematically pretty well. So I'm really excited to get feedback and get everyone their hands or their ears, so to speak, on the voice lines we had for this update.
I love the like you're a man of culture, or you're a man of culture too, because so many gamers will say that to each other, right? When you like whether you post a meme or whatever, right? Like like, or you pick a certain skin that you use. Oh, I too see that I didn't. That was a surprise to me because I've seen some of her voice lines and I have not seen that one yet. So yeah, shout outs to you guys that were designing those. You know, you guys did a great job. But I know that we are going to get into our first set to show you off those variants, right? We have those to show off here very soon. Oh, okay. I am corrected. We are going to do those after we show all the bases. So you'll have to stick tight just for a little longer, folks. But it is so worth it, and this will be really fun. Yeah. This is the first time we've had this many different unlocks for you in one battle pass. So we are gonna roll right into everyone's favorite rock mom, Miss Inara. And look at her.
Gosh, yeah, some of the visuals and effects on Inara for this update is I think this is one of my favorite skins.
Yeah, and just so everyone knows, it is Stellar Sentinel Inara. So we are, the base obviously has the yellow theme, which I do love for the default. I love to, again, this was Jasmine basically concepted each single one of these, and I know she had a blast doing it. Had really fun makeup references I remember seeing too for her references for this art. Oh my goodness. And you see it just kills it. Like even just having, some people have like the blush on the front of their face, and she has like this yellow, like gold dust kind of, makeup going on, and with the freckles and everything. And it's just so cute. So cute. And I know it's really cool too to see her more in a human like kind of form. So we are going to be going into the game here with her, and oh my goodness,
those stars.
She's the star mom. She's no longer the rock mom, right? She is the star mom. The stellar, the sentinel mom, I guess. So I'll let you guys kind of talk about this a little bit if you'd like to comment on it, since Nico, you were saying this is one of your favorites personally.
Yeah, for sure. So, yeah, I mean, even just coming to the game in the 3P, you see those stars over her head were absolutely gorgeous. You hear the changes that we have to the audio, right, on the staff. Inara traditionally is a little bit tougher to both sound design for and kind of even VFX for, if I'm quoting Roland correctly, because her abilities are a little bit more subtle. But the fact that we managed to pull it off so well, I love the rotating stellar staff that shoots out little stars. You hear, as I mentioned before, the stellar noises coming out. The stellar VFX are, in fact, just all stellar. I mean, what more can I say?
This is the most star-like, I think, out of all of them, right? Like, lots of, little tiny... Oh!
Definitely. And the wall, I was going to say, I do love the wall in particular. I love playing Inara and being able to put up walls that are so gorgeously crystalline are, I think, one of my favorite parts of this update.
Yeah, I mean, the last time I playtested, it was a bit ago before that was finalized, so I didn't get to see the final texture on that, and that's why I was like a little blown away there. I was like, whoa, wow, Roland, stop. Don't stop. And look, she got a pose.
Yeah, there we see her emote, and then this end pose will also be associated with her too. So
I
can't wait to see the photos of them all lined up together.
Oh, I heard Adonis trying to chime in there. What were you saying, Adonis?
Oh, I think we had mentioned it a little bit earlier, but every skin that's being released this patch comes with an emote and a MVP pose. So just very much a star sister theme. A group, I think, that really fits well together across the board.
Yeah, and also I just wanted to touch on it too. I know Nico was saying, each character, each champion has its, theme and its like, personality and everything. And we're gonna listen to some of the voice lines here. I know from reading some of them, she literally is like the mom. She's very protective, right? That is her shtick.
Yeah, and I can talk a little bit about.
Let's see
We're
if
gonna
we
get
can
the
hear
voice
some
lines.
of her lines. Are we gonna get any of these?
I mean, all right, yeah. Chase the enemy. I guess so. I'm a shining star. It's fine, okay?
So let you talk about that a little bit since you wrote wrote some of those voice lines, correct?
Yes, so I believe Thomas and I split this update. He had, I believe it was Imani and Io, and then I had some of the other skins. This was one of mine, and we tried to coordinate a little bit to get kind of a thematic feeling for all the different Star Sisters, so to speak. And for Inara, I was trying to go for a little bit of a almost like a possessive type of protecting, which I thought translated really well. The voice talent was fantastic. All the voice talent was fantastic for this update, which is always a pleasure for me to work with talented voice actors. But yeah, so Thomas and I kind of coordinated a little bit to try to get different vibes for each champion skin in a way that meshed together to form that Star Sister team. So I'm super excited, like I said, to get feedback on those.
You guys killed it straight up. I've obviously had to look at some of them for the teasers because I did little quotes with some of them, and I was like picking out some of my favorites for them without giving away who it was at first because I wanted the art to kind of do the talking for the teasers. But it looks like we're gonna get into our final Star Sister here. We have Stellar Mender Seris. And as you saw from the teaser, folks. It's so good, and I love too one of the effects that I think hopefully everyone noticed so far is under the underside of their skirts. It's all like almost like a galaxy, like each one has its like really cool effects that looks like you're in the galaxy, and it's themed to their colors that each champion is showcasing at that time as well. I also like that she still has the bangs. Like, it's been quarantine. My girl she might need to get a haircut, but she's rocking it.
It's that quarantine cut. We're all feeling it.
So, yeah, she doesn't want to do it herself, She might cut them too short, but she got it going on. But I know people actually prefer the eyes hidden after, we saw the debacle where a lot of people had that to say when we did the bunny skin. They were like, I never seen her eyes before. I don't like, some people loved it, but other people were like, man, like, cover her eyes.
Yeah.
So we got the effects here. Now you were talking about the orb. Obviously, the effects for her projectile, they go kind of hand in hand, even though they're, still like that purplish color, right?
Yeah, so I think for any Seris skin, the weapon model and the weapon VFX are, I think, some of my favorite parts. So we try to evoke that kind of both galactic feeling and kind of the danger of the void of space kind of thing, which I think Rollin absolutely nailed with this, as usual. The healing effects also gorgeous. Seeing it trail between allies when they're allies close enough is actually really, really cool with the VFX that we have on this ability.
Yeah, I mean, they just keep impressing us. I hope everyone loves what they're seeing so far. And we'll get into, her other abilities here soon, too, like her ultimate, which you probably already guessed one of the lines is going to be gaze into the stars after the teaser. That was the pretty obvious one when we posted that one last, and that line was just gaze. Yeah, gaze at the stars. And everyone was like, obviously, I like the people joking. They're like, it's Torvald, clearly. Torvald in a, teal wig. But, yeah, this is just fantastic. My favorite, though, is still, out of all of them, is probably either Imani or Io. But, oh, goodness, that is a cute spray. We have a couple different ones equipped here.
Oh, the double heart.
Yeah, and she did
So
her,
we saw
her little pose there.
Yeah, we saw there Seris's emote as well, which complements the 3D spray extremely well, in my opinion.
I
Now that's a screenshot waiting to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. I can already see our community grabbing those. Oh, and there we go. There's a spray that is of her. Oh my gosh. And I love, so in her splash art, we kind of had that kind of misty, nebula kind of vibe with it, right? And then we just got that in her F ability, right? That is fantastic. And just to do some shout outs before we get into some of these, the moment everyone's been waiting for to see some of these variants is I missed the shout outs for Inara, so I'm just going to go over them really quick. Concept Jasmine, character, shout outs to Matt G. Same with the deploy, or no, actually, this is mixed up on the sheet. I apologize. Matt G is actually who did the dragon and character for Imani, and Ryan T is who did it for Inara. So apologies on that. Wanted to reiterate that so we have it right. And then just before we end here, Seris, we had Jasmine on concept, Zach M on the character, Adam M on the weapon, Jisoo on the rig again, Kyle on tech art, secondaries done by Jacob H, Rollin on VFX, Thomas on sound effects, and again, the splash art. Shout outs to Volmy Games for assisting us in that. They killed it. Thank you so much. And it looks like we are getting down to that time where we are going to be ready to show off these variants. I'm sure we keep talking about them, and we're just getting you riled up, getting you excited, ready to go.
Yeah, so as we transition, I guess, to being able to show this off, we can talk a little bit about some of the work that went into this system, or even just run through all the different colors kind of verbally before we kind of see the
there we go.
variants.
So we're gonna start with the magenta one for Io. So this is her level 2. Level 16 is teal. Then we got a green one coming for level 57 with the little orange Mew Mew. I love it. We have the red for level 75, yellow for 94, and then we got the black coming for level 110. That's actually my favorite. I love ones that kind of look vampiric almost, and that one kind of gives me that vibe. I don't know.
Like
I love
red,
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the red eyes and the white hair. I love it. I always love that in games. And then we have the inverted for level 117 as like the final one for her. And we have that for each of them as well. I'm not sure if we have the ability to go into all of those, but I know we are also going to at some point. We have a special ability. Here we go. This is what I was about to mention. We have a UI setup that we added just for this patch for these variants. So you can preview all of them in the character screen. This is brand new to the game, so you'll be able to look at each one. And there's that, I believe that's the inverted one right there. So that's the 117 unlock. It's the inverted from the default of IO.
Yep, so just to recap, we have blue, magenta, teal, green, red, yellow, black, and inverted for each champion. And we introduced that tech that Rose was mentioning for being able to select those skins both in the champion select screen, on the loadout screen that you saw there, and in game lobby. Something that we definitely want to hammer on in PTS is the feedback for kind of user flow. So definitely let us know how you feel about that. But that took a little bit of UI finagling, but I think it turned out fairly well. But we're super excited to bring this content.
I'm always excited when you guys successfully add in some kind of new UI element. And just like you said, it'll be crucial during PTS for the folks at home who are going to be playing to let us know like how they feel about it, how they feel about the functionality, etc. And obviously we'll have a PTS guide for you all as well to kind of let you know. And we're going to transition here into Imani and her color for the different recolors. This is actually, that one is her.
So this
is
yellow, I believe. So
oh, that's the yellow. Okay. I was going to say,
so
yeah, yellow's level 11.
We
yeah, we already showed the base. So this is level 11 yellow. And then for level 25, we have the green. So I think that's the one. Yeah, right there. I love the green just for the green lipstick, and it contrasts so well with the blonde hair. I always like those kind of contrasting colors and how they go well with each other. And then we have the magenta for level 35.
I'm a huge fan of the magenta on Imani.
Is that your favorite?
Yeah,
I think this
so.
one's one of my favorite, the blue, just because of like the blue eyes with the dark skin contrast. It just pops along with the hair as well. Like it really shows off her icy side. I think that's like part of her powers. So then we have the black recolor for level 90, and she has like the silver hair. And then we have the teal for 107, and then level 118 we have the inverted. So that is the inverted of the original one of her. So that is Imani's variants. So I'm excited, and we're gonna go into Star Mom here, Inara. This is her level 31 magenta, and we're gonna go into the 42, which is her teal, a much different look here. And we got the 53 with the red, and level 67 here is going to be the blue. We have level 85 with green, and I love obviously my hair is like very light. I always love seeing like what kind of colors they contrast with the like silver hair and everything. And then we got the level 100, which is the black theme, and we have the 119 level unlock for Inara, which is the invert of her default. So, and we're going to go straight into Seris here, folks, starting with her level 51 unlock, because obviously her base unlock is 50, but the yellow is her level 51 right here. This is one of my favorites just because I love the orange and blue. 64, we got the red. For level 80, coming up here, we have the black. So she's a redhead there, folks. And we have the green for level 87. For level 98 coming up here, we have the blue. Absolutely radiant to go along with the radiant stars, right? And magenta is our level 112. And then finally, the 120 is her inverted skin. So very pristine, beautiful, beautiful, so many for so much content for the people getting this battle pass, correct?
Yes. I think the coolest thing for me is I love the options that it opens up. So essentially, if I'm feeling blue, so to speak, any given day, I can swap on over to any of the variants that we have unlocked. I need to get at least one in. But I have one or two per champion, like one or two variants that really speak to me. So being able to just kind of hop in to champion lobby, pick one for a certain game, another one for another game, I think I'm super excited for it. So.
Yeah, and we have a very special surprise. So obviously, folks, we have that battle pass coming, but we have another new skin coming to Paladins in this. Obviously it was very much asked if it could be a thing when we first had Mermaid Ying show up, and from under the ocean of the realm, we have Jenos coming. Look at him.
Mermaid Jenos. Shout out to Sadia. For
Sadia really pushed for this.
This skin was memed into existence internally. We're like, oh, we don't know if we want to do, but a lot of people really loved the Ying Mermaid skin from the Pirates Treasure Battle Pass last year. And I think just the theme of a nautical merman fits Jenos so well. It really does kind of fit who his character is and how his abilities work. And look at that pufferfish too on his weapon.
I know. It's so exciting.
Oh yeah, and we will get into that in a minute as well. We're going to get a little in-game look at him, but he will be available September 9th for those wondering, and will be able to be unlocked via direct purchase for 800 crystals, or he will also be available in the Pirate's Treasure Chest, which we will get into a little bit later, but it's a new chest coming to the realm in the Radiant Stars update. So we look here, we can see that the fish inflates and deflates during fire and reload.
Look at him.
Based on how much ammo you have, I think his weapon is my favorite part of this for me. Look at the pufferfish.
It's almost a meme when he
flat.
inhales the water.
The weapons team, I think, just killed this entire patch. Like all of the galaxy and constellation based stellar skins, or radiant stars skins, and then the pufferfish on Myrnos. They're a lot of fun.
Yeah. Oh, and look at the effects on that. I also feel people are gonna be torn this pass though. They're gonna be like, this is the best Jenos skin, but then it's, you know, for the Radiant Stars Battle Pass, I'm sure there's a certain other Jenos skin people are gonna be playing aside their team as well during this patch, if you know what I'm saying. But with that, let's get into some special notes here on who worked on what in this. The concept was by Thunderbrush. Everyone knows who Thunderbrush is. The character was modeled by Denny, weapon by Ryan, rigging by Jisoo, tech art done by Kyle, and the animation done by Brett, VFX Roland, sound effects Thomas, and the splash was done, I might mess this up, but Yudafong. And the voice pack here, I want to get Nico to talk a little bit about this, since our recent Evil Mojo podcast featured Rico, and you guys kind of teased it, right?
Yeah, so we had a little bit of a teaser. This was an absolute blast of a voice pack to write and record. Rico is a fantastic voice actor. He brings so much energy to the roles that he does, and I think he absolutely killed it here. We're going for and we'll hear in a couple minutes some of the jokes and taunts, some of the voice lines, but we were going for almost like a he knows he's gorgeous kind of thing. He's the prince of the seas, and you're gonna know it, and you might drown because he's gonna drown you with his powers, but he's gonna look great doing it, and it was an absolute blast to do. Probably one of the most enjoyable voice pack sessions I've had in a long time. But yeah, let's hear some of the voice lines.
Let you play.
It's Biggie.
It's a Tripski.
There's
killing
no
spree.
need to stare. There's
That's
plenty of
boring.
me to go around. And yes, it's real. You can touch it. If you were a fish, you would be a clownfish. Yes, definitely a clownfish.
I'm trying to
There are
explain myself.
plenty of fish in the sea, but there's only one incredibly attractive me.
So yeah, those are some of the jokes and taunts for Myrnos.
Close your mouth.
A little pretentious.
I know you are struck dumb by my stunning magnetism. Wait. That's just
I think he's just talking to Sadia this whole time when he's talking about his good looks, because I know Sadia stands this.
So we were kind of mixing that little bit of pretentious, little bit of violence, a little bit of but
Yeah.
I think it turned out super well. So I'm
Yeah.
super excited for people to get their hands and fins on Mermaid Jenos. Two
All
for
right.
two.
Officially, the mom and dad jokes have no longer been a Romanova shtick. They are now a
I
Nico
got
shtick.
you.
I retire from the mom and dad jokes for, oh, wrong side. This man. So we are going to go into, now that we saw that, obviously there's always some golden skins coming. And we have 3 this battle pass. Update, right? So we already went through the battle pass. We have a Mermaid Jenos coming. And then we have 3 golden skins coming for anyone who can get to their level 50 mastery. First, starting with everyone's favorite monk, Buck.
The invisible monk, as some call
Yeah,
him.
no longer
monk.
invisible, though. Just silent,
Shiny.
right?
Formerly
except when-
invisible monk.
He's actually like the least silent monk in the world. He has a choo-choo train, basically, that
Yeah.
alerts you
You
that
kinda
he's
know
on
he's
his
about to
way.
jump on you.
There's the wind up.
Yeah.
Just the wind up.
And then we are going to go
Yeah.
into here. Drogos. You know, Drogos recently, during our mid update, got the free gold skin, but now he is also getting his golden skin. So all the Drogos mains out there, be very excited. Probably also, if you're not already level 50, looking for when we do some of those champion XP weekends coming up in the future. Perfect time to take advantage of those when your main gets a golden skin. And
Yep, shout out to the
you know, your
real
eyes
quick shout out to
don't.
the-
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I was just gonna say real quick shout out to the Discord. I know there's some Lyran fans on the official Paladins Discord who are super excited to finally get their shiny lizard man. But sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you there.
No. They are probably in Discord watching this right now, screaming, you know, with each other, but with, you know, their keyboards. So we are gonna go into, though, your site does not fail you here, right? But Golden Shaolin. So I think he's my favorite out of the 3 golden skins, getting a golden skin. I think it fits him really well. You know, he just looks very flashy with it. So, and debonair.
I agree. Looks
So,
fantastic.
I'm excited. So, all right, and we are, so as you may have noticed, folks, we're mixing up the flow a little bit of the show here. Normally we go right into balance after the bugs with the hunt, but we are gonna go into that after this next portion. So stick tight, especially if you want to hear some of these balance changes. And you know, Adonis and Nico will go into some details on those. We're gonna first off start with some of the chests though coming in this patch. And I mentioned Jenos, the Mermaid Jenos will be available in the Pirate's Treasure chest coming. It's a new chest that'll be available. This specifically will be available the 16th of September for 400 crystals, and it will feature Dutchman Makoa, Swashbuckler Barrick, Pirate's Treasure Io, Mermaid Ying, Shore Patrol Leon, Longboard Lex, and Mermaid Jenos. So if you missed some of those in the battle passes in the past, this is the perfect way to get some of those, as well as your chance to get Mermaid Jenos.
It's a good chest.
Yeah, I think this might be that one might be my favorite out of the 3, but we also have 2 other ones that are coming with some goodies in them for everyone. The next one being for the Magistrate. I think we have that. Yep, there it is. So for the Magistrate, it's going to be only 400 crystals and will feature Covert Ops Lex, Dark Lord Torvald, Reaver Victor, FNO1, and we have also on there High Elf Leon and Mercenary Strix. So that one is going to be a good one for people. Like, those skins normally come all in different chests, I believe. So it's nice that they'll be in a new one together. And then we have the past events, which I think is the other, like, I'd say other really nice one coming here for people who missed out on some of their favorites from the past, specifically to the street style and Omega skins. We have in this one, it's going to be 300 crystals. We have Nightmare Fernando, Daywalker Vivian, Omega Dredge, Omega Shaolin, Abominable Terminus. That's my actual favorite Terminus skin. BT dubs. Merrymaker Dredge, Street Style Ash, and Street Style Maeve. So I believe the community will be pretty excited for those. As you said, Adonis, I'm pretty sure they're probably most excited for the Pirate's Treasure one because of like the hype skins in that one. But you know, I even like that they included some Shore Patrol ones in there. You know, I'm sure too, as we go down the road, more of the Shore Patrol ones will have their way of retrieving them without getting the battle pass, but it's a nice start, right? And looks like we're gonna go into balance, you know, so we are gonna start here. I'm gonna go into this really quick with you guys, just starting off with the ranked split before we get into any balance changes in the game. So if you're following along at home with the update notes, you'll probably see there's a new avatar you can get that has Corvus in it. I know Nico's probably, you know, that smirk's probably like, yeah, more Corvus. Like, he's a big Corvus. You know,
Yeah.
that was his
More
boy he
Corvus.
got to work on. And we have basically, it looks like the split rewards play 5 ranked matches, you get a gold chest. Play 25, you get the unstable power limited avatar, which is that Corvus avatar. Looks really cool. The format changes is all player ranks have been soft reset for Split 3, and obviously certain maps have been rotated in, out. Is there anything you wanted to elaborate on, Adonis, with this, or should we get right into items?
Yeah, I believe the maps rotating out are Shattered Desert and rotating in are Shattered Desert and Warder's Gate, and then the 2 maps rotating out are Serpent Beach and Ascension Peak for this split.
Okay. So some people will probably be excited. You know, everyone has their own opinions on this, though. It's never the same per player, especially in ranked. Rank is where the salt really starts to pour, right? Got to get that. We have like a salt thing, I think, in the game, right? Just like, pour a little
Salt
bit
shaker
out there. Salt shaker.
Seasoned veteran, I believe it was.
Was that a title?
I did that one too. Yeah, that was a spray, I think.
That's wonderful.
No regrets.
No regrets.
Yeah.
So with items, we have some changes coming. Master Riding, it looks like you all have increased the cost from 200 per level to 250 per level. I know that this has been, the items were some of the biggest changes at the beginning of the season, I think, too. There were some changes to COT and all different things at the beginning of season 3. And now you're beginning to adjust more again as we're in the middle of all this season 3 stuff. I'll go over the next item change and then let you kind of elaborate on it. But resilience, also the cost for that, though, is decreased from 200 per level to 150 per level. What kind of went into the decisions behind this?
Yeah, we actually met with members of the PPC a couple weeks ago and tried to identify some, and you'll see actually this is going to be consistent with a lot of the changes, right? We tried to identify at high levels of play issues or frustrations that our players are having, and something most notably that the pros talked about was the item cost of certain items. So obviously master writing here, we like how powerful the effect is, since you're only getting use out of it in very limited time frames of I'm going from my base to the point to fight, and then after I'm dismounted I get no benefit from it. So it needs to be a really powerful effect to actually have value, but we think that it was a little bit too accessible for teams, and so it caused a lot of teams that were winning to struggle to confirm points, since a lot of players are able to very quickly pick up high tiers of master writing when it was at 200. And so now it's still going to have the same effect numbers wise. It's still going to be really powerful for players who want to get back to the point to try and contest, but it's going to take a little bit longer, maybe another round, to actually invest your credits into that, which also means players are delaying their other items. So there's a lot more give and take for it. And then we've also done the same with resilience, where we changed how effective resilience was at the beginning of the new season, and we're happy with the values, but ultimately you're not completely negating stuns as you were before, basically at 90% resilience. 60% is a powerful effect, but you are still going to be stunned or CC'd to some degree. And so it was a hard justification for players to say, I want to invest 200 credits per level to not be able to fully resist stun. So we're shifting this one to be a little bit more accessible, so players feel like it's worth the investment to actually get 60% CC reduction at the max level of resilience.
Excellent. And so we are going to go into next the card and on hit effects. And with that being said, they were modified. You guys modified most on hit effects to only apply after hitting players and pets, rather than including decoys, illusions, deployables, and shields. And it says there are also some exceptions based on intended use cases for particular abilities or cards. Now, I know this was important to you to include in here, so I'll let you also elaborate maybe a little bit on that before we get into the character balance here, the champion balance.
Yeah, so this change is not going to change too much for too many things, but essentially, and this might actually change even a little bit in the PTS cycle. We may include illusions as well as players and pets, but essentially anything that procs on, for example, especially cards, but there were some abilities hitting enemies to proc an effect are mostly going to be limited to those use cases that we said before, which is players, pets, and illusions. They will most likely no longer be hitting shields or deployables like barrack turret. And so those are relatively sweeping changes. There are exceptions, like we mentioned before. For example, cards associated with salvo for Drogos with the increased shield damage will likely also still proc on hitting shields, as that is part of his use case. There are exceptions that we want to detail a little bit more. These are kind of just the overall. But essentially, it's kind of a sweeping normalizing change for effects that proc off of other things to make sure that that it makes sense for players, firstly, and that effects like that are consistent across different things. So you'll see a lot of different smallish changes, nothing super, super crazy, but do let us know if there's anything you feel should have been addressed with this change or something you feel shouldn't have been as we're tweaking that.
And I believe this was spurred from our AOC as well, not specifically the sweeping changes, but I believe Z1 Unknown had noted a couple card effects that he felt should not be proccing off of shields. I think Grover was a big one. And so we really took a look at all of, or Kevin specifically, not me, Kevin, the other one, took a look at all of our cards in the game. And, it was a lot to go through to identify what was proccing off of what, and having this normalization of, okay, the focus is now going to be all cards are proccing off these very specific things outside of special cases. It'll help players, I think, acclimate to how cards work better and be just more consistent for players that are veterans. So shout outs to the AOC.
Definitely.
Yeah. So we are going to move on here to Ash. I threw this one in just because I know that it's been something players have been waiting on. So we can just go over it really quick and move right into Atlas. Kinetic Burst. The ability can be toggled on and off. Finally in. Yay. So it is there. Finally in, and we are going to go now into Atlas unless the guys have anything to comment on that. No?
I mean, I'll just say very briefly, this was something that we had intended to get in with the last update, but we weren't quite there feeling confident about the testing and the edge cases. So for those of you who may have missed the last update, Kinetic Burst being able to be toggled similarly to how Charlene's Crippling Arrow can be toggled, so that you don't have to fire your weapon as Ash now to turn off your Kinetic Burst, which is just a quality of life change. We feel more confident now than we did before, so that is now in. Thanks, Rose.
Yeah, of course. So we are going to move into Atlas. Right now, his Chrono Cannon, we increase the damage per shot from 50 to 56. Exile, during activation, you are immune to crowd control effects and have decreased movement speed penalty from 40% to 0%. And during his ultimate, you are immune to crowd control effects. I believe some of this, I recall, I think he's been brought up in AOC meetings as well. If Adonis or Nico have any commentary on this.
So Atlas, Kevin can speak more on this, but Atlas is a fairly utile champion. We feel we want to be a little bit careful because being both extremely utile and bringing a lot of damage to the board is a little bit dangerous. But at least for the exile changes, a little bit of quality of life means that he is immune to crowd control, which means he can't just be immediately shut down in the middle of his ult. And we removed the movement speed penalty to feel just a little bit less vulnerable when you are activating your ultimate. So that, coupled with the damage increase, not fully up to where it was before, should hopefully give him a little bit of a better quality of life just from a holistic standpoint, while still obviously letting him bring the utility that he brings to the team.
Excellent. I think hopefully the Atlas community will be happy about this. Now, I know the next champion that we're talking about is a very big subject, since season 3, right? Grohk. So there were a lot of changes. You know, you guys on design kind of reworked Grohk a little bit. So we'll get into some of these with his healing totem starting first. You guys increased the rate of healing at base from once every 0.2 seconds to once every 0.15 seconds, and you decreased the heal tick per tick from 60 to 45. It says here as a note that this is a gameplay feeling change and will not affect the amount of total healing done with this ability. So before I finish, I guess before I finish that, I will say you guys also increased the base health of this totem from 1,000 to 1,250. Now, I feel this is probably a good change for him, especially players who want to, you know, feel the power of that healing totem. I feel people want to play him more of a support, right? And not so much like, you know, damage Grohk. So this is a good thing, right?
Yeah, so Grohk is actually somebody who's been on my mind for a while now, and I'd love to hear Kevin's thoughts as well. But essentially, I believe this is a step in the right direction. I think there's still things that we want to do to bring the blue orc a little bit more in line with how we want him, especially for the support side. But the healing rate change is just a little bit of an ease of numbers change. It's going to feel a little bit better, a little bit more quickly to get that healing stacked up. The total healing is not changed. The health increase in the totem, a little bit more survivability on the totem, should make it just that much harder for the enemy team to destroy Grohk's source of healing for his team. And then we'll go on to the other changes he has as well. But I did want to make a note. One of the things that we wanted to tackle that we were not quite able to tackle this update, but is at the very top of my list, at least, for subsequent updates, is we also want to touch the quality of life of his totem placement logic. So unfortunately, that wasn't able to get in, but we are absolutely looking at it. We want it to feel good to heal as Grohk. And these numbers changes are a step in the right direction towards that, but we are absolutely still looking at Grohk and how he feels to heal as a support.
Yeah. I think it's important to the people that like to play Grohk to know that somebody on design like really has this like best interest kind of look, like that, to know that you're looking out for him. As you do, I mean, for all the champions, but I feel some people forget that you do care about all of them. So it's nice to hear you kind of elaborate, I'm sure, for the Grohk fans out there. And we're going to go into Totemic Ward. You increased the healing percentage from 20 to 30%. And for Spirit's Domain, we have an increased healing per second from 600 to 700. And we're ending Grohk's bit here with Monolith Totem, increasing the health of healing totem by 100. And you increased added health from 100 to 150, it looks like. So any commentary on that, or can we go into IO, guys?
I think we can go into IO. I think Kevin kind of covered most of it.
Yeah, of course you want to go into IO, Adonis. So Guardians.
We'll let Adonis have this one.
Yeah, you know, I can keep going through them. So, and then we'll let you kind of take it away with her after we go over these changes. But Guardian Spirit, 100%. We have a reduced base health from 4,000 to 3,000. Luna now is able to be cauterized. This is probably big, by the way. And it says here as a note from you that this is something we are still testing and would like to feel confident about before ultimately including this in the final update. So obviously people will be able to test that in PTS. But before I let you take the floor here, I'm going to finish the rest of the changes here. We have Feral Strength. We're increasing Luna's health by 200. So it'll be increased health from 200 to 225, 225. And Swift Arrows, we are increasing the allies' movement speed by 8% while they are being healed by Moonlight. And there's a decreased movement speed bonus, though, from 8% to 6%. So I'll let you elaborate on all of that. There's a lot going on here with Miss Moon Goddess herself. So go ahead.
Yeah. So at a high level, Io is definitely a meta-defining character at the moment. When you're you're talking about the best players in the game at Paladins. I believe looking through the PPC stats, she was at like a 71% win rate, which is pretty absurd. Very few bans early on, and then I think a lot of players started recognizing her strength along with some of the shifts we made last patch. Most of this seems to be focused around Luna herself, and less Io as a character and what she brings to the table. The ability to cap the point and allow your team to push up is very strong. We want to keep that. That is part of Io's identity, is that Luna feels like an independent character in our game. It was one of the core pillars of her design. So her ability to capture the point and push the objective is something that we really would like to keep in. We have talked about potentially reducing the cap rate by 50%, but ultimately it felt like a band-aid rather than an actual fix. So this patch, what we're trying to do is shift it so Luna is significantly more susceptible to enemies. So reducing her base health, there is a card increase, the health card increase, if you would like to invest your loadout into that, and then making her cauterizable. And so that was a lot of the strength that we saw with Luna specifically, was that at high levels, players were able to pocket Luna, running the DR talent as well, and so it was really, really, really hard for the enemy team, even if they're coordinated, to actually kill Luna. And if they're investing all of their efforts into trying to kill Luna, then it gives the team that Io's on a lot of opportunity to fight back, since they're unable to actually kill Luna, since she wasn't able to be cauterized and was receiving the full healing effects from Io. So this is something that we're going to be looking very closely at. Io is a character that we've really struggled to get into a healthy place for the meta. She's either been overpowered or really underpowered. A lot of that, again, has to do with, as a character, a lot of her strength lies in Luna and how players are using it, but players don't feel that, and so we've actually ended up buffing her probably to an unhealthy state based on community feedback. Simply because players aren't feeling how strong Luna is and how effective she is at actually helping your team, since Io herself is not seeing the numbers and stunning players and dealing extra damage or capturing the point. So Io is 100% a character that we want to pay very close attention to, and we will continue to watch this patch and PTS as well. So please provide feedback in PTS, and we'll see if any additional adjustments need to be made. Sorry, that was a long-winded discussion.
No, but the details appreciated, and I'm sure, people appreciate the elaboration on that, and hopefully they'll make sure that they test how that feels with also the Luna cot change as well. That is huge when we go into the PTS for this, so make sure you do it. So we're going to go into Makoa. We're going to talk about the Leviathan rework here. So we have here the new way this is going to work is it will now increase your ultimate charge rate by 15% and your maximum health by 500. Using Ancient Rage resets the cooldowns of Dredge Anchor and Shell Spin. We also have Cannon, and this was an AOC inspired change here. The Cannon will be increased. The range is increased at which you deal full damage. Dredge Anchor, we are decreasing the cooldown from 15 seconds to 14 seconds. Shell Shield added a small grace period after activating, during which it can be immediately canceled. And for Strong Arm, we reduced the cooldown of Dredge Anchor by 0.5 seconds and increased the effectiveness of the cooldown reduction from 0.5 seconds to 0.6 seconds. Designers, any comments or commentary on these Makoa changes?
Yeah, I can chat about the Angry Turtle very briefly.
Yeah.
So the Leviathan rework, we felt that Leviathan as a talent was underperforming. There were a couple different avenues we explored. I remember one or a couple playtests, we had like 40% movement speed during the ult, which was terrifying, facing a very fast Angry Turtle swinging at you. We ultimately landed on kind of a combination. I think the quality of life change of the cooldown reset is going to be a nice little touch. Need getting used to a little bit. The ultimate charge rate, just being able to be a little bit tankier, ult a little bit more often, and have a little bit more utility on the ult, we think could breathe a little bit of life into the Leviathan legendary. The canon change, as you mentioned, inspired by the AOC, one of 2 champions who is receiving a change to their fall off curve. Now, I do want to note in particular the fall off for this champion and the other champion. We would love feedback on how it feels, whether or not you feel the difference. But essentially, we increase the range at which the weapon is fully effective, or for those people who are familiar with the idea of damage fall off as a term, we decrease the impact of damage fall off kind of thing. And we think it's just going to be a little bit, not necessarily a damage change inherently, like we're not changing damage numbers, but it's a little bit of quality of life in the in-hand, being able to deal more damage at longer ranges. Dredge Anchor change, we just think we need a little bit more utility with Dredge Anchor. We did change it to 15 seconds, a little bit long maybe. We're going to see where it lands at 14 seconds, just a little bit faster. Shell Shield, the small grace period I think is just a big quality of life change, so you can't accidentally spam Shell Shield and immediately cancel it. You'll have that small grace period during which even if you press the button again, it's still going to stay up. And then Strong Arm, again, just increasing the effectiveness of the cooldown reduction card for Dredge Anchor, playing into that kind of Dredge Anchor feeling. We want to keep an eye on Makoa, obviously, as we want to keep an eye on every champion we touch with balance changes this update. But we feel that these changes are probably going to bring him a little bit closer to feeling good or feeling better than he is right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So Makoa, those changes, are here out of the shell. I still got, even though Nico's taken over the mom and dad jokes, I still have a few, up my sleeve, but we're gonna go into.
Yeah, I can't be shellfish,
Oh my god.
Oh
Okay.
no.
With the jokes, you need some, right?
I'd like to. We're gonna go into Moji. We're winding down here, folks. We're only gonna go through Moji and Talus going forward, and then we're gonna go into some community esports updates, and then that'll probably be it for the rest of this update show. So stick tight with us here. So with Moji. I'm sure Moji fans will be either happy or upset, as always. There's always a different sentiment between everyone. But the familiar spit is now going to be increased the base damage from 100 to 300, but also decreasing the rate of fire 1 every 0.6 seconds to 1 every 0.7 seconds. We also have familiar spray, decrease the range 60 units to 50 units, decrease damage per hit 50 to 30. We have another change coming to Symbiotic, and that is increase the healing you received by 10% while at or below 50% health, as well as decrease effectiveness of the healing boost from 10% to 7%. And before I get into the last 2 bits here, I just want to say Moji is one of those harder ones to balance, right, guys? Because at a low, correct me if I'm wrong, but Moji at a lower elo is, a lot of people think that she's really tough to play against. A lot of people I've seen at a lower elo will be like, Moji's broken, how can this character exist, etc. But we don't see her as much in the pro or higher play, right? It's not as common. But again, correct me if I'm wrong. I listen into a lot of these conversations that people have, is why I'm asking.
I think the general gist of it is that Moji in certain circumstances or with certain kind of variables can cause a lot of frustration for players to play against her. And she has a feeling of a lot of power in certain situations. So it can be tough to balance. It can, but it's also something that we want to do our best to manage both the expectations of players who enjoy playing Moji at all levels, and where we feel she fits in the larger scheme of things. But I would say that I would agree with you that there are a lot of people who feel that she is difficult to balance.
Yeah. And thank you for elaborating on that, because when I play our game, I am, a general level player. I'm not a high ranked player, but I'm also not a beginner. So I kind of see really good Moji sometimes, but I also keep in my head, is this a really good Moji, or is it just because I maybe am not that good at fighting against Moji. But the last two changes we have here, we have one to Greater Good. And with Greater Good, we gain 8% lifesteal against enemies with maximum number of magic marks, and a decreased lifesteal gain of 8% down to 6%. And the last one for Moji is Cozy. We have a heal, the heal for 40 every 1 second while magic barrier is active, and increased healing every 1 second goes from 40 to 50 as well. That was a little bit of a tongue twister the way I had that worded, but I got through it.
No worries. I can chat very briefly about the high level for the Moji changes if you want, real quick. So the high level essentially is, as we mentioned before, Moji can be a little bit difficult or frustrating for certain people in certain circumstances across all levels of play. So at the high level, what we're trying to do here is we are shifting a little bit of the damage out of her closer range spray to the longer range spit, while removing, like I said, removing some of that damage from the spray and decreasing its range, which means that you will need to be a little bit closer to be fully effective as Moji, but you will have more poke, essentially, more ability to deal damage at longer ranges with the spit. And then in line with other similar, I do want to make a note, I don't know if we already chatted about this, but these are the ones we're going over in the update notes show. The balance changes are some of the cherry-picked high-level ones. There are other balance changes as well that you can follow along with on the update notes that should be, I believe, live at this time. But the card changes we see with Symbiotic and Greater Good are in line with our desire to bring down Self-Sustain just a little bit. You'll see other card changes for Victor and Vivian, for example. And then Cozy coming up just a little bit as a little bit of compensation. That's kind of the high level for Moji.
Yeah, and thank you so much for the explanation on that. I know that helps too, especially like players at, like, if they aren't at the higher level, those explanations help the players at the lower level. So thank you so much for that. So we are going to go into Talus here. Now we're winding down here, guys. Talus, we're going to start with Veracharger. So Veracharger, we increased the rate of fire by 10 seconds to 11 seconds. Overcharge, we are reducing the effectiveness of added rate of fire from 33% to 25%. Guts, we are reducing your damage taken by 6% while at or below 40% health, along with a decreased effectiveness of damage reduction from 6% down to 5%. And the last little bit of changes coming for Talus is with Primeval Might. I might have messed that up. There is still a list of words in my head as an adult that I still cannot ever pronounce right. Ha 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 ha. You gain 8% lifesteal while Overcharge is active, and reduced lifesteal gain goes from 8% down to 5%. Designers, any commentary on this?
Yeah, there's kind of two parts to this. These changes. One is the Veracharger and Overcharge change. So we've essentially shifted a little bit of power outside of Overcharge, his moment of Overcharge, and made him more consistent on just regular damage. So the increased fire rate, he's now firing 11 shots a second instead of 10. And then Overcharge is going to be a little bit less effective when you activate it. And then I think a more important change is the Guts and Primeval Might interactions. So Talus can be frustrating. It's kind of the nature of his kit. He gets in, he does a lot of damage, and then teleports out. But we think the combination of his teleport along with Guts and Primeval might make him overly safe and able to get a lot of kills and just not have a ton of risk when he's actually committing to any targets. And so we just want to shift that damage reduction down a little bit, shift the ability for him to gain lifesteal. And so players are going to be able to damage him a little bit more when he's trying to invest and dive your backline, which means he's going to have a harder time actually securing the kill. He still is going to be able to get out just as easily with the teleport, but players will have a better chance at actually fighting him off for that window. And so we're going to continue to watch Talus. We think that his core gameplay loop is fine. We just think he's a little bit too safe at doing it right now.
Yeah. I know there's a lot of people, as well, you were saying some people get frustrated by the damage that he does sometimes Again, too, I'm sure there's people at a high level, but I do hear a lot of people at like more of a casual level that do complain like Talus is so strong, blah blah blah. But it's really like when it comes down to it, it's the designers are really great here. They look at it from all different kind of levels. So we're lucky to have you guys, and we're gonna go into the last segment here, which is community and esports. But you guys can feel free to chime in on some of this, as I see one of them kind of is Nico influenced little Easter egg here. So we will be, continuing how we have done in the past. We like to give away, the avatars, the XP for engaging everyone on weekends every couple weeks. But we have some content we're going to show you right here. Once it transitions, yeah, there it is. We have, we're not just doing avatars this time, but we do have avatars. Instead, we have one animated avatar, which is new, which is going to be the Mermaid Jenos. But, so if you're a fan of this, you'll definitely want to make sure you're playing the weekend that this is available, and you'll be able to follow along on social for that. As well as this year for Talk Like a Pirate Day, we will be having this very special icon here that obviously resembles Nico, because on one of our update shows, I believe we had you wearing an eye patch, right? Or we've had you wearing an eye patch for some reason. So shout outs to Jeff for making that one. Is absolutely amazing. And I know Jasmine, I'm not sure, I want to say it might have been Alyssa that did the Mermaid Jenos one, but I could be wrong. But the bra spray, I had wanted to request something for the community that was more than just the avatars, because I know some people are like, oh, it's just an avatar. There's certain things that we can give out and whatnot, and those sprays I think are going to be a great addition. So you won't just be earning just avatars, you'll also have those sprays to use in game. And I know everyone loved Koga for his beach skin and memed the heck out of the bruh line. So when you see that spray, I feel like you can almost hear it without it having a voice, like him go. So shout outs to Jasmine for creating that. She did that one, and then the Eevee, the witch Eevee one, we're gonna do that to kind of welcome fall, because everyone likes their to be basic with their pumpkin spice lattes and whatnot. So we got the basic witch Eevee, so that'll also be a spray coming to you in the future as well during this battle pass, update, battle pass, everything. This is actually one of my favorite updates since I've started being a part of the team, honestly. I think with a close second maybe being last year we did the Pirates one. I think the Pirates was my second favorite. But other than that, folks, we are going to go into the last bit here, just esports updates. As you can see here, Avi isn't on the screen with us, but I got it covered for him. We're just stay tuned for more information regarding our Phase 2 kickoff for the Paladins Pro Circuit. With our summer finals concluded, relegations are coming up quickly. So keep your eyes on esports.paladins.com if you're looking to compete in a spot for the Pro Circuit. So that is really it that we have for you guys. Any closing thoughts from Nico or Adonis here before we sign off?
I mean, I just want to reiterate that it's a pleasure to be on these Update Notes show and be able to share these changes with you guys and bring the content to you guys. I love what we're putting out this update. Hopefully people are excited about the stuff that we're showing, and it's just absolutely a blast every time. So thank you guys. Thank you, champions, for being part of it.
I want to see your best stellar Star Sister pose when we exit out here.
Star Sister pose? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'll prepare myself.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a.
You do a couple of
This is weird because my head's tilted one way and the camera has it the other. It's very confusing to me.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
we can end embarrassing ourselves there. But thank you everyone who tuned in to the Radiant Stars update. We really hope you'll we'll see you in the PTS. Make sure you test out everything. Look for that PTS guide, and we'll see you next time. Thank you so much.
Yes. Peace.